What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today, and welcome to the first video of 2024. Happy New Year's Day, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm wearing my Vegas jersey today, my Winter Classic Vegas jersey, because they will be playing. Puck drop is in little over 53 minutes. The broadcast officially starts at 2 Central Time, 3 Eastern Time. But I'm wearing my Mark Stone Vegas Winter Classic jersey. Halfway through, I'll switch to my Seattle one. It's going to be an exciting game, but first I want to get this power rankings out of the way, because I said I'd have a power rankings out by probably around December 31st, by the end of the year. And it's the beginning of the year, so why not? We're about halfway through the season now. I think it's about time we get a power rankings done. So to start off, we have 32 teams on the board. Last time we did a power rankings was at the beginning of the season. I do have water in here. I'm going to go grab that just in case. I might need to sip on a little bit with how much I'll be talking. So I'll be back in just a moment. Alright, water has been acquired, as you can see here. But moving on, 32nd team on the board, moving down 4 spots from where I had them originally. Yet, I'm not upset about it, but I think they've played the worst overall so far. Even though they didn't start 0-9-1 or something like that. I don't remember what it was. My Chicago Blackhawks, 32nd overall. Last night's loss against Dallas, 8-1, kind of just did that. BFR for that will be out. I'm not sure about what. I think I'll post the BFR later today, and then I'll post this tomorrow. I'm recording this on January 1st. Winter Classic's coming up soon, so we'll see that. BFR will probably be out later after the Winter Classic. We shall see. But Hawks at 32. Bedard's been him. He's been all that's advertised from before the season, and a lot of things have changed since this team originally took the ice. Corey Perry is gone. Anthony Beauvillier has been acquired. Jason Dickinson has become a top scorer on this team. Mrazek has been amazing. Mrazek has just been, aside from the last couple games, he's been making incredible saves, keeping this team in games. He can only do so much for this team. This team is abysmal, and it's looking more and more like Hawks are going to have the best odds for the draft lottery, which would be crazy if they won it back-to-back years, but then they would not be able to win it again. If they get Celebrini, fantastic. He seems like a perfect second-line center. If they get Yzerman, put him on the wing with Bedard. If you get the Russian defenseman, I think that's projected to go third. Perfect, you got another defenseman added to the core. You really can't lose with whatever draft pick you get this low. So, yeah, moving on. Moving up one spot. They weren't going to move up that far because they were projected to be the worst team in the league. San Jose, after that abysmal start, they didn't win a game for I don't know how long. They finally got going, and now they're up around the worst teams in the league. It's not they're in last currently, but I think they're playing a little bit better with what they have. Capo Kakinen's gotten a lot better as of late. Maybe some trade conversation. We're going to see a lot of the sellers here. The Hawks are going to have a lot. Hawks have almost all of their players as free agents. San Jose, not almost all of them, but a good few players are free agents. We can see what they do throughout the season, who they trade to at the deadline. And they're another pick that could be in there for Celebrini, could be in there for Yzerman, all those guys. But yeah. Now staying in the same exact spot where I projected them, and this did not seem like the case when the season first started. But the Anaheim Ducks at 30 completely fell off after the start of the season. Very similar to what they did a couple years ago now. I want to say 2021 or 2022. They were really good at the start of the season until December. They fell off even earlier this season. I know Zegers has been hurt. Leo Carlsson has now gone down. And the team's just completely fallen off. They were winning a lot of games at the start of the year, and now those wins are just not here. And they've fallen all the way till 30th in the standings. Of course, this isn't an accurate representation of the standings. There's teams that are in spots that I think they're either higher or lower than they should be. But Anaheim stays in the same exact place for me where they are in the current standings. Moving down 16 spots and is a major disappointment. I don't know how you talk about the Buffalo Sabres more. Buffalo was supposed to finally break out of their shell this year. They were supposed to finally go. Patrick Kane decides not to go to Buffalo. Okay. They still had one of the highest scoring offenses in the league last year. They were a top 3 offense, I believe, maybe 4th. I don't remember. Because you had Thompson, you had Skinner, who's had 3 good seasons in a row now, and he's going for a 4th. Alex Tuck. You had another year of Dahlin, Owen Power get big extensions. Add Eric Johnson for some veteran depth who's won a Stanley Cup on the blue line. Connor Clifton as well, who's another veteran. Devin Levi is supposed to be your starter to take you the way. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen's in there. Eric Comrie is your third. Young youth all around the lineup, and with a few veterans finally sprinkled in. And then you just crash headfirst into a wall. That's the best way I could say it. This team has not played good. It's not been good enough, and I had them in a wild card, as a lot of people did, and it's just not gone right for Buffalo. Now, moving down 2 spots from where I had them originally, if I can get it off the board, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets. Getting Fantilli was a boost. He's looked good. Marchenko has really been the MVP there. They're starting to win a few more games as of late, but still, Johnny Gaudreau has been average at best. Patrick Laine has been hurt. It's going to be a question of whether or not he can really play in this league anymore because he keeps getting hurt. Goaltending's been a whatever you call it there. And this team doesn't look any better really than they did last year. Maybe a slight bit. Fantilli's been a bright spot, as I said, but not really much change here in Columbus. It looks like it's going to be another tough year. And it's going to be a wonder if they ever get out of the basement. It's going to be that's the true wonder for Buffalo. Whoops. Now, moving down 11 spots, we have another disappointment. And similar to Buffalo, the Ottawa Senators, Tarasenko, who they acquired, was considered that contract was a bit whoa, what are they doing that for? I know they missed out on to break it, but why are they doing it? He's probably been one of their best players. Tarasenko's been one of the non-issues on this team. I don't know what's gone wrong. I don't know why it's going wrong, but everything is going wrong for Ottawa. This was supposed to be last year was okay, they got a little bit closer towards the playoffs, so this year they probably should get in, maybe just out of it. They're last in their division. Buffalo is higher than Ottawa in their division, but I think Ottawa's playing better and just not getting it. They added Chikrin with first-round picks last year. They added Tarasenko. They had to trade to break it, but they brought in Kubalik, who's been on and off. I don't know what to say with Ottawa. The Atlantic Division is a depth march, but still, you would not that some of the teams that are higher than Ottawa and Buffalo are very concerning for those organizations. Now, Calgary, moving down, it doesn't say. I don't remember where I had them. I know I didn't have them making the playoffs. I had them 6th. I want to say I had them around 22nd, so we're going to say 22nd. So moving down from 22nd, 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving down 4 spots, Calgary. A lot of people didn't expect Calgary to completely fall out of the playoffs. I was one that said I think they're gonna do what they kind of did last year and fall to the 6th seed, and right now I'm absolutely correct. And that's pretty strange when it seems like I'm no more than some of the hockey analysts out there. Huberdeau, what an albatross of a contract right now. Everything he had in Florida is just gone. If people said Sutter was the problem, no, it wasn't. Apparently, Sutter could have been a part of the problem, but this team is just done. I don't know what to say about it. Kadri and Huberdeau signed those big contracts, not this year's summer, but last summer. And Kadri's been better, but Huberdeau has just been $10.5 million for 8 years. That's until he's 38. That's a rough deal to swallow. Among the rest of the teams, Zadorov wanted out. He was traded to Vancouver. Not really much else to say. Disappointing for sure, but it looks like they're going to be a team that's going to be wallowing for a bit now, so we'll see how that goes. Moving down 8 spots, we have the St. Louis Blues. St. Louis is around where I expected them to be, but I decided to change my mind and put them higher up in the standings. I mean, I expect them to be a little higher than what they are. They are a little higher in the standings, don't get me wrong, but what they've played, they haven't really looked great. Kyrou has been meh. I mean, he had a good game against the Hawks, of course, when they lost 7-5. But Kyrou has not been really advertised. Thomas has been great. Buchnevich has looked good. Binnington has been an adventure. Better than last year, I'd say. Yeah, a lot of issues in St. Louis. I'm not really sure. You bring in Kevin Hayes to be your kind of second-line center. He's been meh. I don't even know what happened to Vrana. He's just gone. Kapanen was brought in. Very just kind of team of very average players right now below. I mean, you have a little bit of star power up there, but you're going to need a bit more, I think, if you really want to go farther in this league. Moving down 14 spots, another disappointment, and I had made a bet in the previous power rankings on Shane Wright making the roster. Shane Wright did not make the roster, and I'm questioning his NHL capabilities now. But Seattle, this makes what they did last year just seem a lot like luck, and then makes the first year kind of seem like, it was closer to what they really were. But, of course, it's been 2 years since then. They've added and taken away stuff. Dumoulin was brought in. Drieger's back, finally playing, it looks like. Decord's been a solid backup option. Of course, the Winter Classic today, I'll be wearing their jersey after the halfway point, starting with Vegas. That's not the C, Vegas. But Seattle, not that they necessarily played bad. They'd have a lot of overtime loss points, that's for sure. There was a point where they had the same amount of wins as the Blackhawks about a week and a half ago, but they had so many more overtime loss points that if some of those are converted to wins, they're probably in top 3 in the Pacific Division. But they're not, and it's unfortunate for Seattle. Moving down nine. I just had a massive brain fart. Moving down 9 spots is Pittsburgh. Erik Karlsson was brought in to shore up the blue line, and this team, you'll get one of 2 teams every other night. You'll get the dominant force that wins 7-0. Chris Letang breaks records all over the board with 6 points, 5 points in a period, all in the span of about 30 minutes. And then you get the team that just gets manhandled. I don't know what else to say it. But Pittsburgh, they're not in a playoff spot. They're not really close to a playoff spot. It's a wonder if they'll sell at the deadline. Getzel needs a deal. See how that plays out. But if Getzel gets moved, it'll definitely bring in some riches. It'll bring in some picks that Pittsburgh probably needs to maybe lessen up the rebuild that's probably incoming in the next couple seasons. But I think Kyle Dubas taking over the team thinks Karlsson's going to take over, fix a lot of the problems, add some scoring. Karlsson's not been what he is in San Jose. That's because he's not in the same situation he was in San Jose. He was the person to carry the force in San Jose. He is not the person to carry the force here. But Sidney Crosby, on the other hand, he's looked great. Malkin's looked pretty good. Letang's looked good. The big 3 have been looking good. It's the rest of the team around it that's been a bit meh. Moving up 7 spots is actually a pleasant surprise because I think the league is better when this team is good. The Montreal Canadiens. How about them? They looked actually pretty good, and they have a lot of injuries on their lineup as well. A lot of their team's injured, and of course they scored the goal from the bizarre goal last night against Tampa. That was, or not last night. It was middle of the day, kind of. Interesting goal that was. If you didn't see it, Montembeault covered the puck up, and the refs didn't blow the whistle, and Montreal realizes that Tampa's going to the bench, and he gives the puck to Kovacevic, I think it was. Kovacevic just takes a few steps and just shoots it from his end of the ice right into the back of the net. And it was one of the most bizarre things I think I'd seen this year. But Montreal, definitely a pleasant surprise. It's funny because Caulfield really hasn't been one of the guys that's been mega producing, and Doc's been injured as well. So they're finding a way to win games, which is impressive for a team that really doesn't have that much talent as of yet. Now, staying in the same exact spot I had them at the start of the year, the Minnesota Wild. Marc-Andre Fleury is a great story. 1,000 games played, now second all-time in wins, passes Patrick Roy. Only Brodeur left. If he passes Brodeur, he's going to have to play another 5 years, that's for sure. But Minnesota, the cap is finally caught up to them. Kaprizov hasn't been the world-beating force. Zuccarello is getting older, even though he's still been good. Hartman, I know he was injured for a bit there, among others as well. Boldy, Eriksson Ek, Ross see a bit of their youth. Not as prevalent as they were last year, but I think they kind of are seeing what they are. In a few years, this cap penalty will be done, and they'll be able to spend. It's starting to see here this is like where you see where you really could use a guy like Kevin Fiala, who they had to trade because they couldn't sign him with the cap. But overall, Minnesota, this is kind of where I expected them to be as having them in the same spot. So it's really not too big of a surprise there. Now moving down 13 spots is a team where they've been better as of late, but the start of the season was abysmal, and that is the Edmonton Oilers. They're slowly cracking their way back up towards playoffs, and I think they'll get there. I think they'll at least make a wild card. But Edmonton, to start the season, was abysmal. I'm not really sure what happened there. It was very interesting how just they kept finding ways to lose games. and then it kind of just clicked the switch. They won 8 in a row, and then they lost another 3 in a row. Then they won, then they're back over 500. It was a very streaky team, the Oilers. But they're here now. They're closing in on a playoff spot. We'll see who they knock out, whether it's Nashville or Arizona or Seattle or whoever's trying to claim that spot. But moving on. Number 19, a team that was very good at the start of the year that's kind of fallen off, and it's moved down one spot from where I had them. And it all starts with the addition of a star, my childhood star, Patrick Kane and Detroit Red Wings at number 19. Kane has been dynamite, over a point a game with the Red Wings. DeBrincat has been even better. He's a good few points over a point a game. And then the rest of the team decided, he's here, see ya. I'm not sure what happened with the Red Wings. Ever since Kane came into the lineup, they've looked like a completely different team. It's like it kind of looks, but how many points Kane and DeBrincat are getting, it's almost like the game plan is now get the puck to Kane and DeBrincat, which cannot be your game plan. You need to have rolling 4 lines, you need to be playing all your assets, and you need to be scoring with all those lines, at most 3 lines. But hopefully they can turn this around. It's been really enjoyable to watch Kane in his return. Not a lot of players come back from that hip resurfacing surgery, and I'm pretty sure he's already played a good fraction of the games that all the players who come back from that surgery combined have played. So hopefully he can keep doing this. I hope he's not done after this season. I hope he continues. He's also a free agent at the end of the season once again, so we'll see how he responds, if he'll sign in Detroit again, or if he comes back to something like Chicago, which would be kind of crazy. Moving down 11 spots from where I had them at the start, and I could have seen this happening, but the way it's happened, I mean, Vasilevsky was hurt, but it seems like they were winning when Vasilevsky was hurt, and it seems like they've kind of had a halt on winning games when Vasilevsky's come back. Whether he's playing hurt, that's the question, but I can get it off the board, that would really help. At 18, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning. Not currently in a playoff spot, which is something I haven't said since 2017. But the Tampa Bay Lightning, I don't really know what to say. Kucherov's been one of the best players in the league. Stamkos doesn't have a contract. Hedman is looking a little bit older. Point, good player. Not really much else to say. They've kind of just been mid. That's the best way to describe Tampa right now. Just mid. Moving up 7 spots, we have the Nashville Predators, who, another team that had an abysmal start, really worked their way up. They won a bunch in a row. The Hawks really kickstarted that by losing to them a bunch. And then now they're around 500, and then they're competing for a playoff spot now, which is something that wasn't expected, I don't think, by them at the start of the season, especially when even though they acquired Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Schenn, a bunch of Gustav Nyquist, but they really sold off guys. They sold off Duchesne, who went to Dallas. Johansson went to Colorado. Tyson Barrie's wanted out for a bit now. It's been a little bit odd in Nashville, to say the least. We'll see how they continue to work, but take a water break real quick, and I'll be back in a moment. All right, we are back after that 20-second water break. Moving up 11 spots, another team that was projected to be bad, Washington. Washington is a phenomenon in the way that they are winning games, but they are not scoring goals, and it's not Ovechkin scoring the goals when it is the goals being scored. I don't know how this team's in a playoff spot. I'm going to be brutally honest. They haven't looked like they've been. They look like they get destroyed on some nights, and the shot totals, but they'll somehow win games 2-1. I mean, that's credit to goaltending, just for sure. But it's not like the goaltending's been outstanding. Kemper's been good. Lindgren's been good. Lindgren a little bit better, but it's working. And it's not like Rasmus Sandin came in at the end of last year and really turned the offense around. This year he's had 7 assists in 32 games. He hasn't done really much. Of course, that you've got Kuznetsov, who's wanted out. Dylan Strome's been a positive. I mean, he's showing why he was a 3rd overall pick. Kind of showed that in Chicago. He was good in Chicago, and they sat him for a lot of no reasons for a bunch of the time, which really frustrated me as a fan, because a lot of guys were like saying, sit Strome, get him out of here, trade him. I thought he was good when he came in, and he was great when he left. He had 20-goal season on that bad Hawks team when he left. And he's showing why he's a 3rd overall pick. Maybe he shouldn't have been a 3rd overall pick, maybe a mid-first round pick, but he's still showing why he's a good player in this league. Moving down 13 spots, we have a team that I projected to be 2nd overall in the standings. The New Jersey Devils. Jack Hughes and Nico Hischier were both out for a bit there, and Ducky Hamilton's kind of out for the rest of the season. They're still finding ways to win games after facing adversity early on. Teams face adversity. This could be kind of motivation if they go on a playoff run again. I was wondering if they'll even get into the playoffs. They've turned it around. They're winning games, and that's important. It's very important for this young team. And now the question that's been around recently is the goaltending. Schmid's been sent down. It's kind of Vanacek and Dawes, I think, that are up. And there's been talks about trade talks with Gibson. I just saw this morning there's been trade talks involving Michael McLeod. So we'll see how that goes with the Devils. Moving up 11 spots, something I could have seen, but I didn't choose to predict out of safety. And turns out I did not pick the safe option. As the Arizona Coyotes, if I can get it off the board. Oh my gosh. Why can't I do this? There we go. Arizona Coyotes are a good team. They don't have the most star power in the world, but their coaching, their working as a team has really, really shown. Keller, who hasn't been as great as he has been last year, but he's still been really good. Schmaltz has been good. Cooley's been pretty good. Their goaltending, Connor Ingram, I know he stole a game. He almost stole a game with Nashville back in that 2022 playoff run. The 2022 playoffs, I think it was Game 2 that he nearly stole from away from Colorado. But wow, he's in Vezina contention right now with how good he's playing. Vejmelka's, that's kind of been a 1A, 1B situation, and Vejmelka's also been pretty good. Their goaltending's been excellent. Their defense has been solid. Durzi's been a fine addition to the blue line, and Dumba as well. At first, it was going to be are these guys going to be sold off at the deadline? Not Durzi, but Dumba, because he's on a one-year deal. At this point, Arizona should just kind of run with it and make some noise with the playoffs. If you get some playoff games down there, it's really increased the interest. Really kind of say, hey, we need that new arena. And there's really no question there's really no debate on Arizona moving as of right now, which is good. I don't want to see the Coyotes move. I've never wanted to see the Coyotes move. They have the best jerseys in the league. So yeah, moving down 9 spots. Oh, I forgot to mention Michael Carcone. Excellent. Moving down 9 spots, the Carolina Hurricanes. Aho was injured to start the year, and so was Svechnikov. They both came back, and they've started to turn things around pretty good. And then Ranta was kind of just gone. Ranta was the worst goaltender in the league for a bit, so they kind of just stopped playing him, which I don't blame them. Ranta is a good goalie. I'm not sure what's going on with him. Hopefully, he can just get his confidence back and get back in there. But Carolina, kind of, they're fine. I mean, they're in a playoff spot. There's no reason to really hurry. I think are they? I don't even know what position they're in the Metro. Are they? I think they're in a wild card because I think the Capitals are ahead of them. Are they still? I honestly don't know. I don't remember. I was looking at the standings before this, thinking how to judge teams, but I was really not paying attention to where they were, in terms to other teams. But the Hurricanes, well, it's really about playoff time with them. Are they going to finally do it in the playoffs this year? They're a lot of people's favorites before the season. We'll see if they can follow up on that. Now, moving down 9 spots, we got Toronto. Nylander is still not signed. The team will allow a lot of goals. Samsonov's been relegated to the AHL. Toronto is such a confusing team because they seem to have all the assets and they never can do it. I'm not even... I don't know what to say about them. It's what hasn't been said. What has it's always been the goaltending, the defense. You're paying the core 4 too much. It's everything that's been said. I can't really say anymore. It's never really been on the core 4. Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares, they've all been perfectly fine. Domi's looked good. Bertuzzi's been a little under, done a little under what is expected. But among that, Ryan Reeves' contract is looking like old milk, to say the least. But, yeah, that's the Toronto Maple Leafs for you. Well, come playoff time, and we'll see what happens. Moving up 9 spots is a surprise, in that the Islanders kind of did not look like they were meant to be with the big dogs in the league last year. They've looked really good this year, and it's not really by their usual. They usually relied on defense. they've been getting some offense in there, although they got blown out by the Penguins the other night. Oh, excuse me. They did get blown out by the Penguins, but everyone has that game once in a while. Horvat's looked back like he was in Vancouver. Barzal, I really haven't heard his name much, to say the least. You really never hear a lot about the Islanders. I've heard the only player that really gets noticed is Noah Dobson. You hear a lot about Noah Dobson, but then you don't hear really anything else about any other players, which is interesting. Of course, Brock Nelson's always going to be scoring goals. Anders Lee, after a slow start, has picked it up. Most random captain in the league, I will say. 10th, I have, moving up 2 spots, the former Stanley Cup runner-ups, the Florida Panthers. Tkachuk hasn't been as advertised as he was last year, but the team's stepping up. The team is finding ways to win games. The goaltending, the defense, the offense have all been pretty good. No really issues in this lineup, and it's a good team. It's a good team. It is a top 10 team in my opinion. Moving up 22 spots, the biggest jump on the board, from 31st in the league where I predicted, and where a lot of people predicted them. The Philadelphia Flyers are good, somehow. You keep waiting for them to fall back down to earth, but this John Tortorella coach team does it by committee. Everything is going their way. Konechny has been great. Couturier's come back after not playing for over a season. He's looked great. Bobby Brink has been one of the rookies that's really stood out. Especially at the start of the season, he was off to a rocket start. And Carter Hart. I mean, not much has been said about him, but he's also up for a contract next summer. But there's really not much to say, other than how are they doing this? I don't know how they're doing it, but it's clear that it's working. They're a top 10 team in the league, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the Flyers. Now moving down 2 spots, no biggie, but I just think teams that played better than them. The LA Kings, Dubois has been. Dubois, I can give a pass to. He's not used to playing he's not used to being the most experienced guy on his line. But the Kings have been a machine. They had a really good run where they were first in the league for about a couple minutes, and then they realized they're in the Pacific Division, which the top is a death machine. I think that's the word I'll use. But the Kings, they're going to be battling there. If they somehow don't get home ice advantage, which it doesn't look like they will at this point, it's pretty funny because they're actually one of the best teams in the league, and they're still not getting home ice advantage. It was Edmonton that kind of screwed them over the last 2 years, and this year could be Vancouver, could be Vegas. We'll see. Moving up 1 spot, Colorado. Colorado's been flying under the radar a bit. Everyone's been talking about Dallas, the Winnipeg Jets, who I do have higher, but Colorado's been in first just as much as those other teams have. They've kind of just been exchanging places, and that's a credit to them. They don't have Landeskog. They have dealing with other injuries throughout the lineup, and they're still finding ways to win. That's the important part. That's how you know they're a dangerous team. They're looking to win their second cup in 3 years. Moving down 5 spots from where I had them winning the league, the Dallas Stars. And it fell on the floor. The Dallas Stars, as you can see, I'm getting a little tired of talking right now before we get to the top 5. I've been talking for 28 minutes. The Dallas Stars have been all that is advertised. There have just been 5 teams playing better than them. Dallas is a machine firing on all cylinders. You had Hintz with the hat trick against the Hawks 2 nights ago. Marchment with the hat trick last night. I should say 3 nights ago for Hintz. But it's a machine firing on all cylinders, and they just got to keep it rolling. They're getting wins. They keep racking up the points. I think they're still, my favorite to win the Central Division, but there's going to be up to one team that's tied along with Colorado in them to kind of fall off a little bit, which could happen with how the state of the team is, because it's kind of been interesting how Winnipeg's been winning games, and we're not in Winnipeg yet. Moving up 6 spots from where I had them, the Vegas Golden Knights did not have a Stanley Cup hangover like almost every team does. It's starting to hit them a bit later, but I think I saw a stat where they were perfect in their first bit of games, and they've been a losing record since then. Interesting, to say the least. But everyone goes through their losses. It's nothing abnormal there. Vegas is still as dangerous as they were last year, and a lot of people are expecting them to repeat, which shows that they are a very dangerous team. Moving up 11 spots into the 4th spot, you got Boston, who just keeps winning. I got no explanation for this phantom that is the Boston Bruins. Bergeron and Krejci are gone. They got a lot of guys on $1 million contracts. Milan Lucic got arrested, and they just keep winning. I don't know what to say. That's a credit to the team. That's a credit to the coaching staff, Jim Montgomery. They're not as good as they were last year. Although at the start of the year, they were better than they were last year, which was that almost was caused major strokes going on in my head. But Boston at number 4, 3 teams better than them in my opinion in terms of the power rankings, and we'll see if they can run it home. Moving up in the 3rd spot, we have the Winnipeg Jets, who after the Dubois trade and the Wheeler trades, changing of the guard a little bit. I mean, Scheifele and Connor are still there. Ehlers, Hellebuck. Scheifele and Hellebuck signed huge extensions. They're good. The Winnipeg Jets are looking better than they were the last couple of years, and that's something to say because everyone thought they were going to fall back a bit after the trading of Wheeler, Dubois, guys that, Dubois was a kind of a star. I mean, he didn't want to be in Winnipeg. He didn't want to be Columbus. I'm waiting till he asks for out of LA. But, they're good. I mean, what can you say about a team that's really just doing everything right now? Now, moving to number 2. Moving up 17 spots from where I projected. But that was on me counting they wouldn't live up to their potential. This team, I feel, has never lived up to their potential in the last 3 years. 2021, 22, 23, 24, they're finally doing it. The Vancouver Canucks are finally what I've seen them to be the last 3 years, and they've just never been. Everything's going right. Pedersen, Besser, Hughes, Chronic, Miller, Demko. Everything in this lineup is clicking. They added Zadorov on the blue line. He's been a fantastic addition. And Beauvillier was traded out. That made some cap space to get Zadorov, and then they got a pick in return. Works out for Chicago because they get another piece. Beauvillier really didn't have a place in Vancouver's lineup, so it really helps Vancouver out. And who knows? This could be the year that Vancouver might finally do it. The hockey guy can finally rest in peace. He's not dead. Shannon is not dead, but he can finally look on and be proud of his team. Which 15 years ago I would have said heck no, and now I'm like, I like this Vancouver team a lot better because they actually look like a team that could compete for a Stanley Cup. It's not the Sedins, a Ryan Kessler, and Alex Burrows, an Alex Edler, and a Roberto Luongo. It's not a couple guys. It is a full team effort right now that's going on. Teddy Bluger had a 9-game point streak or something like that I remember seeing. Teddy Bluger, I mean, Bluger's a good player, of course. He's not a star, but Teddy Bluger's a 3rd, 4th line guy, and he's having those point streaks, which is saying something. At number 1, then, leading the league currently, the New York Rangers. The Rangers are what I had them to be last year. And Panarin has been the best player in the league, I think, so far this season. And what a performance. Him, Zibanejad, among others as well. Adam Fox hasn't even been healthy for the full of it, and they're still winning. And you haven't even heard anything really about Shesterkin. You haven't really heard anything about Trouba. It's been all Panarin's game. He came to Broadway for this reason, and it's really paying off. And he's getting older. That's the crazy part. He's already in his 30s now, and he's looking better and better every single year. But that's going to be all I have for you guys on this one. 33 and a half minutes really I've gone so far. The Winter Classic starts now in 19 minutes, so I'm going to go downstairs and watch that. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave a comment down below of your favorite team and what you're looking forward to do in this new season. Next power rankings might be after the trade deadline. It could be at the end of the season. I don't know. I thought I was going to get a couple out, at least one out before I did, and here we are. So things can change. Want to get 2 more redrafts out there, being 2001 and 2002 before the end of my break. We'll see. Things happen. We will see. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Enjoy the Winter Classic.